In this video, we are going to discuss the opportunities for the use of social network analysis for understanding of massive online open courses. In particular, we are going to focus on the early massive open online courses, or so-called connectivist MOOCs. These connectivist MOOCs had the intentions to distribute the course control. That is to say, to move the control of the course design, the course topics, and the major information flows from the instructors to learners. According to the original authors of that, the idea was to have the engagement of learners who self-organize their participation according to their own learning goals, prior knowledge skills, and commonly shared interests. We can see that learners in these distributed massive open online courses were supposed to acquire learning for themselves rather than have learning served to them by some provider or institute, as commonly done in the counterpart so-called cMOOCs. But then the question becomes whether these courses were successful in their major claims. That is to say, to what extent they managed to move that control of influence and the control on the course information flow, course design, and course community formation from instructors and learners. Two natural questions emerge. The first one is who and what influences information flows in a connectivist MOOC, and the other one is who and what drives community formation in a connectivist MOOC. This was investigated in a recent study in which one of these early connectivist MOOCs was analyzed. The MOOC was dedicated to the topic of connectivism and connective knowledge, and the course was offered in 2011. The data in the study were collected from Twitter, and in addition to that, the authors of the study collected demographic data of the Twitter participants by investigating different public sources, such as LinkedIn, their personal home pages, and institutional pages, in order to collect data about their professional background and career position. In addition to that, this method used the networks constructed based on Twitter. That is to say, networks were consisting of the nodes, which were the course participants who used their Twitter accounts. However, in the study, the authors also used so-called socio-technical approach to network analysis. That is, the nodes in the network analysis were also hashtags. This is important simply because the hashtags also shape and potentially offer influence on the information flow. Once these networks are constructed, the authors performed network analysis by measuring centrality measures on a weekly basis in order to determine who were the most influential nodes in the network, as well as they performed the modularity analysis on the networks which were created in the end of the course. As the results of this analysis show, the top most influential nodes measured by in-degree centrality were actually hashtags, or the students who emerged as course facilitators rather than original course facilitators. When it comes to the network centers measured by closeness centrality, we can see that the original course instructors Stephen Downes and George Siemens were among the most influential network centers. This indicates that these two instructors had an easy access to any other node in the network, that is to say, the shortest access to any other node in the network. However, we can also see that those two course instructors were still not the major centers of the course. We can see the influence and importance of hashtags, but on the other hand, we can see that other nodes in the network were almost as equally central to the network as the original course instructors. In terms of network brokerage measured by betweenness centrality, we can see that the original course instructors had even less influence in the network control and brokering of different sub-communities that emerged within the network. We can see here that other course participants who were there just to attend the course emerged as so-called facilitators or emerging facilitators of the course. We can also see that the original course instructors did not have so much influence on the network brokering compared to any other node in the network. In terms of the community formation, modularity analysis after applying the giant component filter was performed. The overall network was then analyzed and the 19 communities were identified. As a result of that, in this video we are going to focus on the 4 largest communities which were identified. We can see that the largest community in the network was built around the course hashtag, which was quite expected given the socio-technical approach used for network analysis in this study, but also in terms of the importance of hashtags to facilitate interaction and communication on Twitter. This second cluster shows that the course instructors were members of the second largest community. However, we can see that this community is not necessarily tight and there is no big density between different nodes. Moreover, we can even see that within this community there were several smaller sub-communities. Some of them are quite interesting. For example, sub-community around EAD chat is quite interesting, and that is a sub-community which was dedicated primarily to distance education in Brazil. This community was created when one of the course participants, indicated also in this slide, created this hashtag in the second week of the course. From that week on, this community started its formation. Similar pattern of the community formation could be observed for some other communities. For example, the next community was dedicated to educational technology innovation, and the community was initiated by Web 2.0 education participant in the course. The final community that we are going to indicate here was very topical. It was dedicated to the theme of English as a second language teachers, and it was created by another course participant, Professor Baker, who also was observed to be one of the major emerging course facilitator for the entire course. Based on this study, we can see that social network analysis can provide interesting insights into how distributed courses unfold. Moreover, we can also see that social network analysis can be used as a mechanism to see to what extent certain pedagogical principles that are grounded in certain theoretical perspective work and to what extent they are delivering up to their promises. I would like to encourage you to think about other potential scenarios in which similar analysis technique can be used. I would also like to encourage you to have a look at the data set provided in this course, which also comes from the same course, Connectivism and Connective Knowledge 2011. I would also like you to read the paper discussed in this video if you are interested in further details of the study. Thank you for your attention.